everyone, and welcome to my channel, Thrifting Adventures. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to tell the difference between vintage toys and new toys. So nowadays they are remaking a lot of toys like My Little Ponies, Strawberry Shortcake, He-Man, Ninja Turtles, all of that. And I'm going to show you in just a few examples how you can tell what is old, vintage, or collectible, 1980s, 70s, and what is new. Now, both the eras are worth money, but obviously the older toys, the more collectible vintage toys are worth more. And you want to be able to know what the difference is very quickly when you're at a garage sale or at a thrift store. All right, so the first example I'm going to show you is My Little Ponies. So I have two My Little Ponies here, and they are very, very similar. So can you tell which one is vintage and which one is new? Very similar, hard to tell. I will let you know right now. This one is the new one. So for the newer ones, you will notice that the eyes are a little bit bigger than the older ones. And then if you just flip it over, you'll see the pink stamp, the plastic stamp. If you notice that right away, you don't have to look at the dates, you don't have to look at where it's made in, then you know that this is a newer My Little Ponies. Now these are still worth money because there are still little girls out there that want My Little Ponies, and they are expensive when you buy them new, but obviously not as much as the older, more collectible 1980s My Little Ponies. Now you'll notice on the older My Little Pony, the eyes are a teeny bit smaller, and there's no pink stamp on the bottom. Another thing, if you want to look to see how old it is, it will say made in Hong Kong. It'll say it right there on a foot and printed. And then a lot of times it will say the year. And this one says it doesn't say 1987, it says 87. So this is from mid-late 80s. And different ones are worth different amounts of money. Like some of them are super rare and they can be worth hundreds of dollars for just one. Others could be worth, $5, $10 for just one. But they are both worth money, but they're both from different eras. So there is how you can tell. All right, next up is Little People. And I collect a lot of Little People. I've sold a lot of Little People. So with Little People, there's quite a bit of a difference. So you will notice the shorter, fatter ones are the older ones, and the taller, skinny ones are the newer ones. Now they just started making Little People, the tall, skinny ones, newer, just a few years ago, less than 10 years ago. So you'll usually find a lot more of the fatter, kind of shorter ones around garage sales and thrift stores. And these are still worth money. You can sell them. They come with trucks, they come with houses, they come with themes, they come with animals. So these are still worth money. And these too are still worth money. A lot of times you can find both. Now these do not fit in the newer trucks and newer cars, newer houses when you put them in. And these do not. So if you want to get the truck or the vehicle that goes with this, you have to get the newer ones for it to fit. I'll show you more examples. Here's more of the newer, skinnier ones, just to give you an idea. And I believe this one is just a couple years old. So this is like a year and a half old. So this is very, very new. Here's a look. And again, here is the older ones, short and fat. You can even see on the bottom. Even on the bottom, it's different. These are a little bit wider and these are skinnier. So that is a way to tell from the old ones from the new ones. That's Little People. All right, here is a tough one, and this has to do with Star Wars. And it's big differences with Star Wars. So see if I get all my Star Wars out here. So there are 3 different times that Star Wars came out. It was the 70s, 80s. Those are the original Star Wars. Those are usually worth the most money for the collectibles and, you know, for kids to play with. Then the Star Wars came out again in the 90s. So you will see Star Wars figures that look similar to 70s, 80s, but they are from the 1990s. And as you know, there's many new Star Wars coming out right now and just a few years ago. So those are the newer ones from the 2000s. And the prices range huge on all those. So one way to tell the difference, let's see. Obviously, if they are made in China, then they are the newer ones. Another tell signs is the coloring, and I don't know if you can, this is going to focus. Oh my goodness, I don't think it's going to focus at all. Anyways, with the older ones, you're going to notice the coloring of the faces. They usually kept it pretty neutral. I'll show you. These are 3 older ones, 3 original Star Wars. And the eyes are usually pretty neutral, not a lot of details. They all have the brown eyes. When you look at the newer ones, you're going to see that the eyes are blue. They're using more color in the face. And a lot of the times, the plastic of the newer ones will have more of a shiny look to it, a different kind of plastic than the older ones. I don't know if you can see the difference. So a lot of times, when you look at the older ones, look at their faces, the details of it. If it's pretty plain, same kind of coloring, like they all have the brown eyes, and the plastic. The plastic's a little bit duller, not as shiny as the newer ones. And also the body types. The newer ones will have more buffer bodies, more muscles. And the older ones are pretty generic. They all got the same body type. So there are some clues on how to tell from the older ones to the newer ones. Let's see. So it is hard to tell between the 1990s ones and the 2000s ones. There's usually a date on the back if you really want to start inspecting them and stuff. And then also research the movies to know what characters or what movies. So you know what action figures are from what movies. And that's another way that you can tell, you know. And here's a, oh goodness, is this another one? It's another robot. So like if you don't know this is from Star Wars. If you don't know the character, you could always Google it and research the movies, or I don't know. I'm blabbering on, blabber. But those are some clues to tell from the older ones and the newer ones. And then once you discovered if it's older or newer, then you can start researching online to see how much they are. If you should bundle them up with other action figures, or if you should sell it individually, because, you know, there's a whole bunch of price ranges. All right, another thing I want to talk to you about is Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars. And this is a tough one for people, though, who aren't collectors and just getting into it. So one thing to tell is if it is a metal car, you want to look on the back. And if it says made in Malaysia, it is a newer one, usually not worth a lot of money unless it was like a limited edition or something special like that. So even though it's metal, it does not mean it's older, because they have a lot of remakes that are metal. So this one right here is a cheaper one. It's metal, but it's newer and cheaper. It's not worth much. Again, with these are from 2004, made in Malaysia, but they're metal. So, I mean, they are worth money. They are just not worth a lot of money that the collectors are looking for and such. Another thing is, obviously, if it's plastic on the bottom, it's newer because the older cars did not have the plastic. They were metal. This is a Star Wars special one, so this is worth a little bit more than a regular car, but it is plastic on the bottom. But if you're collecting Star Wars Matchbox Hot Wheels cars, then this would be more of a special item, but it's not a collector's piece for the people who are looking for older ones. This one is all metal. Metal, 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 metal. And let me see what it says on the bottom. Oh my gosh. And I can't read it because my, Matchbox made in England. All metal. So this is obviously worth more. It is older. It's not made in Malaysia. There's no plastic. And it's all metal. So you know this one is worth more. Another, and I don't have an example, but I'll just show you the wheels. So another thing to look for is if it's it has red wheels or red line or however they call it. So what you would want to do is look on the wheels. You want it to all be metal. You want it to not be made in Malaysia, and it's going to have a red line. This doesn't, but you see the red line around the wheel on all the wheels, then you know that is a red line car, and a lot of those are worth money. Some, if they're in perfect condition, can be worth a lot of money, like hundreds of dollars. Or if you have a lot of them, collectors love getting those. So you want to look for that too. All right, so last but not least, Legos. So I've been to the bins where people have come up to me and have brought Legos by me and asked me if this was a real Lego or not, because there's a lot of knockoffs. There's a lot of brick makers that make Legos, bricks that look like Legos. So one of the things you want to look for is all Legos will say Legos right on the little bricks. Lego, 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 Legos. They will all say it. Another thing is find Legos and find a knockoff like Mega Bloks. The coloring is different. So Mega Bloks, for example, will have like a light greenish color that does not resemble Legos at all. And I wish I had an example, but I don't. Also, it will have a different sheen to the knockoff brands. I know a lot of knockoff brands will have like a shinier look to it than Legos. That's another sign. And if you want to know where the Legos, what sets of Legos come from, there's also a little code that you can find, and I don't have a magnifying glass because my eyes are horrible. If you have a magnifying glass, that is imprinted on the underneath of the Lego. And you could just Google that number, that code, to see what set it came from. Like this. You look underneath, you'll see the code right in there. Very, very, very tiny. If you have bad eyesight like me, you need a magnifying glass. You'll be able to tell what set it comes from. So yeah. So those are all my tips and hints about how to tell if some toy items are vintage or new, or genuine or not genuine. So hopefully you learned something from this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, definitely give me this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what else you want to learn about toys or antiques or anything like that. And if you want to watch more of my videos, subscribe to my channel. And until next time, see you later. Bye.